The Journey Inward, a yoga speech by Mukesh Dhandhuka. Namaste, my dear friends, brothers and sisters in spirit. I am Mukesh Dhandhuka and I stand before you not as a master, not as a guru, but as a fellow traveler, one who is still learning, still stumbling, still bowing before the great mystery of life. Yoga to me is not a subject to be taught. It is an experience to be remembered, for we all come from that stillness, that divine harmony, that source where yoga began. Yoga is not something we practice on a mat, it is something we awaken within the heart. When I first began my journey, I thought yoga was only about flexibility, balance and strength. I thought if I could hold the most difficult asana, I would become enlightened. But life, in its infinite humor, had other plans. My hamstrings tightened, my ego inflated, and my patience vanished. It was then that I realized yoga begins where the pose ends. Yoga is not about how we look in the posture, but how we feel in the posture. It is not the body that needs to become flexible, it is the mind. When I breathe in, I remind myself I am alive. When I breathe out, I remind myself I am free. Every inhalation is a prayer of gratitude, and every exhalation is a surrender. That is yoga. The inner mirror. There is a saying in the Bhagavad Gita, Yogaha Kamasu Kaushalam. Yoga is skill in action. To me, this means that yoga is not an escape from life. It is a way of engaging more deeply with it. When we roll up our mats and step into the world, we should carry our stillness like a flame in our palms, gently, carefully, so that every action becomes sacred. The world often tells us to compete, to achieve, to accumulate. But yoga whispers, just be. When we sit in silence, we meet our truest companion, ourselves. And that meeting, my friends, can be both beautiful and terrifying. Because to face yourself is to face everything. The fears, the desires, the forgotten dreams, the pain that we carry silently. But when we breathe through it, we discover something extraordinary. Peace is not the absence of chaos, it is the stillness within it. The mat becomes a mirror, and in that mirror, we see not our reflection, but our essence. Beyond the physical, sometimes people ask me, Mukesh ji, how long should I hold this posture? And I say, hold it until your ego lets go. Because in yoga, the real stretch is not in the body, it is in the soul. Asana is only one limb of yoga, the third limb according to the great sage Patanjali. But before that comes Yama and Niyama, the ethical foundation. Ahimsa, non-violence, not just toward others, but toward oneself. Satya, truthfulness, not just in words, but in being authentic. Aparigraha, non-attachment, the art of letting go of what is not ours. Without these, the postures are only shapes. Yoga without ethics is like a lamp without oil, beautiful but dark. When we practice yoga, we polish the mind as we would polish a mirror. Slowly, the dust of judgment, anger, and fear clears away. What remains is pure awareness, the light of consciousness itself. The breath of life. The great secret of yoga lies in something we do every moment, breathing. In Sanskrit, the breath is called prana, the vital life force. Yet we live most of our lives without truly breathing. We inhale only half the air, and we exhale only half our pain. Yoga teaches us to breathe completely, to allow life to enter and to let go of what no longer serves us. Once, during my early practice, my teacher told me, Mukesh, don't chase the breath. Let the breath chase you. I didn't understand at first, but one day, while sitting in meditation, I felt something shift. The breath was breathing me. The universe was breathing through me. In that moment, I wasn't a person doing yoga, I was yoga itself. Breath is the bridge between the body and the mind. It is the thread that stitches the physical to the spiritual. When the breath is steady, the mind is steady. When the mind is steady, the soul smiles. The fire of transformation. Every soul goes through darkness, moments when we feel lost, broken, or unworthy. Yoga does not remove the darkness, it gives us a lamp to walk through it. When I was younger, I went through a time when everything seemed to fall apart. Work, relationships, health. I sat on my mat one evening and simply cried. But I kept breathing. I kept sitting. I kept showing up. And slowly, through the practice, I found something indestructible inside me. A peace that no circumstance could touch. That peace is not mine alone. It belongs to all of us. Each of us has that sacred flame inside. The practice of yoga is not about lighting a new fire. It is about uncovering the one that's already burning. Gratitude, the highest posture. We chase happiness as if it were somewhere else, in another job, another person, another tomorrow. But yoga teaches us that joy is not a destination, it is our nature. When gratitude fills the heart, every breath becomes celebration. Even pain has its wisdom. Without darkness, how would we recognize the light? Without stillness, how would we hear the symphony of existence? So let us bow, not in defeat, but in reverence. Bow to the body that carries us. Bow to the breath that sustains us. Bow to the challenges that shape us. Bow to the divine spark within every being. That is the essence of yoga: humility, awareness, and love.